Hello, right, got something a little bit different today. I'm going to be doing a tier list of the ships from Star Trek Armada 2. So we've got 16 of the standard ships and two sort of special mentions, and I also have my partner here, Bridget, who's going to be helping.
Happy Star Wars Day, everyone. Today is also my birthday, and
Bridget, do you want to
Hello.
introduce yourself?
Hello. I have watched a little bit of Star Trek. Not really. Wait, is it Star Trek or Star Wars?
Are you doing a bit now?
I am doing a bit.
Okay, good. Yes, it is Star Trek. Yes.
I... Oh my god, do you want to start again? Because you...
No.
I've watched a little bit, mostly when it was on TV when I was a kid, so I know next to nothing about any of these, and I'm going purely off vibes.
Fantastic. So, we're gonna. I think initially we're just gonna do the tier list as it lies. We're just gonna have our instant reaction. At the end, I think we should do a bit of the reshuffle because maybe this is just me, but one of the things I find a little bit frustrating with tier lists is that people tend to overstack either the top or the bottom. So I want us to kind of try and get a fairly normal distribution. There is, however, space to add additional tiers. So we've got a couple of ways of showing them. We've got the flat images, but I also have got a model viewer so I can actually open up the ships from the game and we can kind of see them in a bit more 3D. So we are going to start...
I'm probably going to need that since I'm going purely off what they look like.
Yeah, and to be fair, the first ship that I'm going to show you probably fits the bill. So these are, broadly speaking, alphabetical order with a sort of two Brucey bonuses at the end. So we're going to start off with a ship called the Aegean class.
It's very long.
It is very long. So let me pull up the image viewer for it. There we go. That's what it actually... Ignore the kind of lime green. That's basically a team colour thing, so that will change based on the ship in, if you're blue team or
So that's
red
the
team.
racing stripes.
That's for racing stripes. That's for go faster stripes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what it actually looks like from various different angles.
So I have... The things on the side, are they called the nacelles?
They are. They are the nacelles, yes, the warp
Hey!
nacelles.
They look like a sonic screwdrivers.
You're not wrong. They do look... Yeah.
Do all of them look like sonic screwdrivers, or is it just this ship specifically?
No, I think this ship specifically has sonic screwdrivers for nacelles. So, like, what's our current vibe check on it?
It's alright. I think it's quite mid. I want to put it a little higher because I like Doctor Who.
Okay. I'm thinking B. Because I think it kind of looks goofy.
I'm thinking B. It does look goofy, but I like goofy. So
Okay.
I'm between B and A. But I think B.
I think B. Okay, so we're going to go with B for the Aegean class. Right. Next one up is very much a venerable classic. Is the Akira class.
Oh, I like that one. I don't have anything funny to say about it. It's just nice.
To be honest, I don't think you're alone of it. Honestly, the only thing that I could think to say that would be funny about this is one of the biggest criticisms of the Enterprise from the show Enterprise is that the NX-01 Enterprise looks like an Akira class, so people call it the Akira Prize. And there is literally only... So my hot take about this is I do think it's a nice ship. I don't think it's S tier. So here's my first suggestion. We're going to add a tier. And we're going to call that tier Faith in the Heart.
It's so hard not to sing that tune every time someone mentions that show.
So, yeah, that's my one joke for the episode.
Oh, you're only allowed one?
Yeah. No,
okay.
as in, like, that's the one good joke I can think of that I started. Right, next up, Federation cargo ship.
Yeah, that's D.
D.
That is ugly as hell.
It doesn't look good. It is a ship that is only worthwhile because it's useful in the game. And
yeah.
I want us to consider Like, I'm going to consider some of the utility of it, but
Well,
I
yes,
don't want to base.
That's the point. You consider the utility and the usefulness. I go by vibes. I'm sure it's very useful, but I can't see how useful it is from that picture. So, D.
It's probably one of the less useful of all the economic ships. It's probably the least useful. So, yeah, I agree. D. Right. Didn't even want to see. Didn't even want to see it from multiple angles. Just
Nope.
like absolute. Get out of here.
Straight in D.
Straight in the bin. Right. This is the Federation colony ship.
If I speak, I am in big trouble.
I have things to say about this that may not be safe for work.
Okay, save them and I can always cut or bleep. I have gone silent. I'm not sure what to make of that because you're not wrong.
it looks a bit like just beep out the whole thing.
Honestly, the next one's probably not going to be much better now I'm looking at the preview. Not safe for work comments aside, what do we think of the Federation colony ship?
It looks functional.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's a very good, like, aerodynamic shape. So I would put that in maybe C. It's a bit ugly, but it looks like it's practically put together.
See, that's an interesting point, because I was going to actually put a knock against it on a very pedantic set of grounds. That being that, technically speaking, according to the original design documents, the warp nacelles of a Federation ship should be able to see each other. They should have line of sight to each other. Now, there are multiple ships that break this rule, but I was going to dock it points for that because it doesn't actually have nacelles.
Can we
that
look
could
at the
see each
3D
other.
model?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just pull that up. That's what it looks like.
Oh, it's a lot flatter than I expected from the picture. I did not expect it to be that flat. How big is it?
It's hard to tell because the scale isn't 100% clear in the games in general. I'd say it's probably about the size of the Akira class, if that's any help whatsoever.
No, not
It
at
carries
all.
a few hundred people, but I don't know if that really helps either.
Okay, so it is quite big. It's not.
It is
it's
quite
not
big.
like it's not a little shuttle type thing. It's
No.
quite a big. Yeah,
It's
I think that
supposed
knocks...
to. It's supposed to seed a colony.
Okay, I think that knocks it down. I think I'd go for D with that one.
Okay, but interesting counterpoint. Despite me bringing up a reason it should be lower, I do like your point about being aerodynamic because technically the description of the ship does actually say that once it's dropped the colonists down, it goes and lands on the planet. So there is a genuine reason for this one to be aerodynamic compared to others. So I do, but counterpoint, I don't know if that's what they were thinking when they designed it. So yeah, let's go D because we're bullying it.
Okay, we're gonna bully this one.
We're going to
Fair.
bully this one. Okay. Federation construction ship.
What is that?
It's a Federation construction ship.
But why does it look like that?
So I don't know, but you can see what I mean about your previous comment, right?
Why does it look like that?
So, one cute thing I've noticed, you see there's the 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Each of those is a little compartment that like the little drones come out of to make things.
Okay, that's cute. It has little drones on it.
Let me pull up the image viewer and we can have a look at what it looks like in 3D as well, because there is another consideration I want to make. Let me add it in. So yeah. Oh, it's even animated.
Oh, cute.
But yeah, that's what it looks like. I do want to dock it points because it has a single nacelle when it should have a pair of nacelles.
Do they not work properly when it's got a single one, or is that just a rule of ships?
To be fair, like, it isn't canon per se anymore. Like, it's a general design rule that they initially had that clearly has fallen by the wayside, because since then you can have as many nacelles as you want, and even Next Generation has a ship with 3 nacelles. But generally,
Could
the
I have
rule...
could I have a ship with like 12?
Well, that's the thing. Technically speaking, the nacelles are supposed to be paired, and they are supposed to have like visible, like line of sight to each other. But I'm only using that as a kind of like really pedantic thing to kind of be like, okay, I want to knock this down on a technicality. But
Fair.
yeah,
I
that's
am
what it
happy
looks
for
like.
you to put this quite low because it's quite ugly.
That's fair. Okay, are we thinking C or D?
Mm, see, it bumps it up that it has cute little droids in it.
Okay, I'm going to go C on 2 grounds. First of all, cute little droids.
Yes.
Second of all, functionally it is extremely important. So
I have no
it makes your
idea about...
buildings.
Okay,
Uh,
that's fair.
and in a strategy game, pretty important. Right, next one, the Defiant.
I have things to say.
Okay, go on.
It looks like a cross between a manta ray and a goblin shark.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know.
Because I don't disagree.
It's got a
I think you're
goblin
right.
shark. It's got a goblin shark nose and like, you know, the sea flaps.
Yeah. No.
Shape.
I was like, as soon as you said it, I thought you're right. You're absolutely correct. Right. Let me pull it up in 3D. Now, the other difficulty I'm having with this, right, is the Deep Space Nine bias.
Because you love Deep Space Nine and
Because Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek, and it is the ship of Deep Space Nine.
we've had a discussion about what is and isn't the best Star Trek before, and we disagree on that.
Yeah. And normally it would be breaking the rules of the nacelles not having line of sight.
Yeah,
but
underneath.
they do. There is a
Underneath
little
counts
gap.
as line of sight.
Here's the thing, right? You are going to have to argue me down from S.
Okay. I think I like the fact that it reminds me of one of the ugliest creatures in the sea.
That is
The goblin shark.
that's some real damning with faint praise, but I appreciate it.
I will allow you to put that one in S tier. I don't think I have. I'm not against that one.
Thank you.
It's
I
quite
appreciate
cute.
it. Right, next up is the Dilithium Freighter, which is a mining ship.
It's like someone took one of the sort of standard saucer ships, like the Enterprise or whatever, and stretched it like an accordion.
It does.
I don't like that. I do not like that.
I'm glad it's inspired such ire in you. So it does get some bonus points in terms of utility in the game, because it is a fundamentally useful ship. But what are we thinking tier-wise?
It's like an uncanny valley version of the usual ships.
Yeah.
I would put that in D.
Really?
Although, if you say it has use, I will allow it to go up to C. But I don't like it.
Okay. I'm happy with C because it is functional, but that's the best I can say for it.
Okay.
I think it's better than the colony ship and the cargo ship, to be fair. It's more Federation in design.
I mean, yes, it's very Federation in design, but also an uncanny valley version of Federation.
Yeah, that's fair. Right. Next one. Galaxy class.
Oh, see, they're just quite good, aren't they?
Yes.
They're
But
just good.
Here's where I'm gonna say something.
Peace was never an option.
I want to try and never be like, oh, this thing is terrible, this thing is bad. And the Galaxy class is an iconic ship, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
And I don't want to penalise the ship in the tier list because of Season 3 of Picard. But, spoilers for Season 3 of Picard, by the way, if you've not seen it already, the Galaxy class is doing the trench run from Star Wars, I just couldn't help but think the entire time, the Defiant was right there. The Defiant is perfect for exactly for what they wanted to do, but they went with the Galaxy class because they wanted us all to cry seeing carpets on a Federation ship again. And don't get me wrong, the nostalgia it was a sweet moment. But I feel like overall the Galaxy class is nice, but I don't think it's S tier.
Okay, I mean, going purely off vibes, it's a pretty ship. It is a very pretty ship.
Are you arguing me up to an S tier on this?
It wins for nostalgia and just being pretty.
Yeah.
You are the one who knows how it actually runs and all the specs and stuff in that big brain of yours. So I will allow you to put it where you want, but I think it should be quite high.
Make my own tier for it of just like
Debate.
Why are families on this ship? Just put it in there. No, as good as it is for a funny joke, and as much as I'm willing to do a little bit of rage baiting over the Galaxy class, I think we have to go A tier. It's a good ship. I don't think it's the best Star Trek ship. I think it's a good ship.
Okay, I will allow it.
It's got a good 80s vibe. It was good for the time, but we have seen some much nicer Star Trek ships since. And also, I need to say something controversial to generate clicks. So,
I mean, I could talk about my my thoughts on Voyager if you wanted something really controversial.
Honestly, good time for it because the next one on the list is the Intrepid class.
Yeah, it's such a pretty ship. Like, it's so pointy. I know that aerodynamics don't matter in space, but this would be aerodynamic.
And to be fair, it is shown in Voyager that it can land on planets.
Yes, it does land on planets.
And then get stolen by the Kazon, who are probably the worst bad guys in Star Trek history.
Okay, I'm not saying that Voyager was without faults. I just think it's very good.
And to be fair, again, that is not so much that is a very mimetic thing to just be like, oh, the Kazon took it, because that does ignore the context around the Kazon taking it and the fact that, like, they were basically fighting Space Moriarty in the form of Seska, who was a Cardassian who'd been masquerading as a Bajor. Like, the deck was pretty stacked against them when that happened.
There we go. But this ship, back onto track, rather than talking about the merits of Voyager for the next 6 hours.
Yeah.
This ship, it's so sleek. It's like the sports car. It's like a 1960s sports car.
It's just like the kind of car Tom Paris would drive.
Exactly. It's so sleek and like it I love it. S tier for me.
S tier. Honestly, you've kind of argued me up on it. You've argued me. I was thinking A tier. You've argued me up.
You've charmed me.
Another thing I will give it credit for, there is a really neat piece of design in the Intrepid class. You notice when it goes to warp, the pylons fold up. So the warp nacelles can see each other.
Ah. Oh, that's cool. I was going to ask whether the warp nacelles had line of sight.
Honestly, 5 Tuvix murders out of 5.
Would always murder Tuvix for this ship.
Would always murder Tuvix for the Intrepid. The next one, I have a number of thoughts on, but I'll just show you it first. Right?
Can I see the 3D version?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I am curious. It looks very, very flat.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Now,
is it actually that flat in real life?
In real life.
It's so flat.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's very flat.
Well, it looks like someone's folded it out of paper. This is a paper aeroplane.
This is a marine transport ship. It's used for, like, assaulting planets with, like, you know, the army, basically. as much
Origami
as
ship.
Starfleet has an army. It is also used for the purposes of taking over other ships. You can use it to, put Marines on your own ships to reclaim and recover them.
I'll say one thing about it. The
Yeah.
nacelles are definitely in line of sight.
They absolutely are. So I have another thought with this, and maybe it's unfair to knock it down based on the ship that the name it was given, but it's called the Iwo Jima class.
Okay. And that means...
So Iwo Jima being the kind of one of the famous islands in the Pacific theatre of World War II, one of the islands that the Americans took. Now, obviously, and for me, right, I get calling a naval landing ship the Iwo Jima from a historical perspective. It's not, it's an obvious reference. But I feel like if you're going to reference World War II, I think the Normandy class is a better pick, because I don't think the Federation would it doesn't feel authentic for the Federation to name a ship after an event that was part of a theatre of war that culminated in the atomic bombing of citizens, especially given World War III was a nuclear war. The reason I think the Normandy is a better pick is because, Starfleet has a very clear policy about Nazis. Kirk was pretty clear how he felt about them. Archers fought them. I'm pretty sure others have. So, if you're going to pick a theatre of war with marine landing, I would probably pick the theatre that didn't have the war ending in nuclear bombs, which I feel like the Federation wouldn't want to call back to. They would probably just... It wouldn't be like, we cover this up, we never talk about it. But it feels like a bit of an oversight of, I don't think the Federation would want to kind of would want to kind of celebrate a theatre of war that involved, atomic bombings. And I know there was, Dresden bombings, there was a lot of horrible stuff that went down in the Western theatre. I feel like Normandy class would have been a better pick, just because I think of a naval landing that isn't tied up with some maybe slightly more complex political discussions around, how that particular theatre ended.
I was going to suggest putting it in D tier anyway, because it looks like it's made out of paper.
Yep. Honestly, good reasoning. I think that will do. I quite like it in the game, but yeah, I think you're right. Right. You know this ship because I've discussed it before. It's the Galaxy class at home.
The Galaxy class from Wish.
Oof. I'm sure that there's every possibility there are Nebula class stands who just got very mad. But right, I think we need to see this in that. I think we need to see this in 3D simply because I do think that image doesn't do it justice. Okay, there's the Nebula class. I'm going to be honest, I do think I am a bit harsh on the Nebula class, but it does look like a ship where they're we need to make a new ship. Can we just kit bash it out of a Galaxy class kit?
What's that thing on the back?
That is the spoilers. So when it goes really fast on the roads, it doesn't lift off due to air resistance. I don't know. Nebula class have these funky bits, spoilers. They have different versions of them.
Because it's a rude boy that likes to play its music real loud and beep at girls on the street.
It's just a tricked out Nebula with a boombox, just blasting through the Alpha Quadrant.
It's Pimp My Ride.
It was actually the captain from the episode where he's trying to expose the Cardassians, just driving by, just playing Skrillex. The Cardassians are like, Picard, come and get your rogue guy. He's playing Skrillex at 200 decibels. Somehow it's passing through the vacuum of space. He's flooding subspace with drum and bass. Yeah. What do we think? What do we think of the Nebula class?
I mean, I'm not going to say D because it's not as bad as a lot of the ones in D.
Look,
but it's not great.
Even on a bad day, it's not D class. It's nice in a kind of you see a dog or a cat at a shelter and you're like, oh, it's so ugly. I feel a little bit sorry for it.
Yeah,
it's got that kind of charm. It's ugly cute.
I would say put it in B.
I could settle with B, which is appropriate. I think it is. I think it is knock a tier off for Galaxy class. That is what it is.
Because they put a spoiler on it.
Honestly, I like the spoiler, but yeah, that is quite a funny design choice.
Yeah.
Right, next up is actually our last non-combat ship. And this is the Federation repair ship.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Should we get it in 3D?
Yes.
There you go. There's it in 3D.
It's a little dude.
It's just a little vehicle.
It's just a little guy.
Yeah, it's just a little guy. It looks like it can walk. You know what it makes me think of, actually? The proper old, like, black and white aliens from outer space movies. It looks like something that would be in that.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
It's like a proper classic spaceship.
What are you thinking tier-wise?
I want to put it quite high because it's a cute little guy.
Just a little fella.
It's just a cute little fella.
How high is high?
Okay, how useful is it? Because that's your thing.
So, I think it has a good use case. It's not like fundamental. But here's something where I'm going to be really niche and rep it. In fact, I'll find a picture and I'll put it up on the screen for the audience. It kind of reminds me of the Light Dreadnought from the Starfleet Battles game.
I can see it.
Because of that, like, pointy... So I think, like, the pointy spade section is a really interesting design choice.
See, but this one looks a lot sleeker and moderner. It's not just a little guy. This was just a little guy.
Yeah, and I do think this looks appropriate amongst the 24th century. It's worth bearing in mind that Dreadnought is based around the designs of the original series ships, so they do meet. So I actually kind of like that it's got the kind of spade saucer section. I think that's interesting, and I do kind of dig how it looks.
I just think it's cute.
What do you think of A tier?
I just think they're neat. Yes, A tier works for me.
A tier, fantastic. Right, next one. I'd be interested to get your thoughts on, because I'm not 100% sure where I saw it either. This is the Saber class.
Can I see it in 3D?
Because I do think seeing it in 3D does kind of change things a little bit, right? That's what it looks like. Bearing in mind, you're going to get some, like, jankiness with the polygons because it's an old game. But that's what it looks like in 3D.
It looks like it has a face.
Hello.
No, not there. Not there.
Right.
Flip it to the top.
Like
top.
there.
Yeah. It has a face with like a long trunk or a proboscis or something.
Cool. Does that affect it standing at all, or?
It's kind of creepy.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the Saber class is a bit of a naff ship design.
Yeah, I'm not
Don't
loving
like it. I'm not a big fan. I don't think it's the worst, but I don't think it's good.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not loving it.
What we think, I think it looks. I actually think it looks really good from like a completely sort of dorsal view. You know, completely from the top. I think it's got quite a nice profile from up there. But you look at it at any other angle, it's kind of.
Why have the nacelles got like a clunky bit on the back?
Hard to tell. I mean, we do need to cut a bit of slack because of, you know, this being like models from a 2000s game. I can get a picture of the actual Saber class if that will help.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's got a kind of weird.
Yeah, weird clunky bit sticking out at the top, at the back. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, it looks like the main hull has just been wedged onto the back, so there's a main hull as well.
It does not pass the vibe check.
Okay, so what are you thinking though? What ranking?
It's not as bad as the ones in D.
I could go C.
I don't want to yeet it into the sun, so C.
Yeah, I think C's. I agree. C, absolutely. Right, the next one is the Federation scout ship.
So this one
Mm.
reminds me of, you know, that really bright mirrored ship from episode 1 of Star Wars?
Amidala's Royal Starship.
Yes. Which looks utterly ridiculous.
Okay.
It reminds me of that.
To me, I think it is technically slightly bigger, but it's like the Delta class flyer, but off Wish.com. It's just a less cool version of the Delta flyer to me. Also, apparently, it made its first canon appearance. It didn't even get a designation class. It got its first canon appearance in the Star Trek Insurrection film, if that says anything. So,
I have not seen it. You'll have to play it at me at some point.
From what I gather, it's the one film in the entire Star Trek series that, outside of maybe Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, that has no real defenders. I don't think anyone was turning around going, "Oh no, actually, Insurrection is slept on." You know, like, I don't think anyone likes Insurrection, so maybe that's fair. Kind of want to dock it points for its debut being an Insurrection. Kind of want to dock it points because it's the Delta Flyer but less cool.
Like, so with the little blue thing on the front of it and like the little red bits on it, kind of looks like it's bejeweled.
I think that's supposed to be the deflector dish or the tractor beam, but yeah.
Like someone stuck some really tacky jewels on it.
And its only function I can tell in the game is that it has the ability to detect cloaked ships. So it's the little robot from Rick and Morty. It's like, what is my purpose? You detect ships.
Oh my god.
No.
So like, I don't like it. Taken in isolation, if you told me this was a ship from Battlestar Galactica or something, Battlestar Galactica, I would be like, that's all right, that's fine.
It would fit in the world of Battlestar Galactica far more than it fits in Star Trek.
It doesn't look like a Federation ship, and unlike the Defiant or some of the other ones we've had, it doesn't break the mold in an interesting way. It just looks like a big shuttle with some slight sleekness to it. So I think it's the nicest looking D tier.
I don't know if I would put it in D or if I would put it in C, but I think with your knowledge of what it actually does and things, I will allow it to go in D tier because it sounds like it's not all that useful either.
Yeah, like maybe in the hardcore Armada 2 and Armada 1 multiplayer community, like detection is highly important, and I've just committed some kind of gaming sin by saying detection isn't that important. But like, I feel like it doesn't. It folds like a cheap suit if you stare at it in either game. Let's go D tier. Let's go D tier. Honestly, I was worried we would overstack the S tier, but we've really we've really dunked on a lot of these ships. However, I think this is an easy in.
Yeah, that's an S.
I think the Sovereign is the best Star Trek ship.
That is
design-wise.
That is a sexy ship.
It calls back to the original Enterprise. It's sleek, but it looks modernized. It's sleek. It's got a real nice swoop to it. Also, I actually think it looks really cool, like from the front. But in a kind of, it doesn't.
Okay,
like,
let's look at the 3D model as a treat.
And we can specifically look actually at the Enterprise model, so it won't have like funny team color on as well. Like, it looks really cool. Like,
it does.
Bearing down on you.
It really does.
I love how the deflector swoops back. It's just I love the kind of triangular element to the Bussard collectors.
It's curvaceous.
It's just so good. It's an easy S tier.
Yes.
It's an easy S tier. And
it's also sleek and curvy and very sexy.
it's also just great in game, and it gets some bonus points because not only is its special ability really good, its special ability is the Corbomite Reflector, which is a really specific callback to an original series episode where Kirk bluffs that the ships carry a Corbomite Reflector. So they picked that up and were like, yeah, by the 24th century, they actually invented something and called it either it is somehow involves something called Corbomite, or they just called it a Corbomite Reflector in reference to the bluff where Kirk pretended his ship had like I've got an invincibility shield.
Kirk really did just like bluff his way through everything, didn't he?
Yeah, Kirk was pure winging it constantly, and that's like part of the charm. But yeah,
high charisma out the wazoo.
Yeah, I just think the Sovereign design, it's great. In game, it's great. In every game it appears in, it's great. Its special ability in Armada 1 and 2 is really fun. I just think it's an easy S tier, and S is appropriate because it's for Sovereign.
Yep, it is S tier all the way.
Now, the next one I would be interested to get your opinion on, because this is a very, very different kind of ship. This is the Steam Runner class.
It's very chonk.
Yeah.
It's oh lord, he coming.
So, in-game, it actually operates as like an artillery piece. It fires like these really, like, area of effect, long-range tri-cobalt torpedoes.
Are they blue? If they're not blue, I'm disappointed.
No, they're kind of bright white. But yeah, I'll show it in 3D though, because I think it doesn't hold up in 3D. I think that's the other problem it has. Yeah, that's it in 3D.
Oh, it looks. It's flat on the bottom, which is just weird to me.
I like it, but you know when like I don't know how much you've done of like you know when like you're sketching out concept art for an idea that you want to implement. It very much feels like something that was part of that process and just somehow got made into a ship. I like it, but it feels like
who approved this?
Yeah, maybe maybe a nepo baby got it on screen or something.
I like it because it's kind of it's like a fat cat. It's cute, but you know that it's probably got heart disease. You know.
So, based on that being a similar description we gave to the Nebula, I think we got a solid B tier for the Steam Runner class.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we now have a tier list so far of the Armada 2, of the main ships. These are the ships that in any mission, like in skirmish, you can build all of them. We've got the Brucey bonus ships coming up now, which are ships which are either as sort of special ships. You can't build them, or you can't build a version of them in the game. One is only really featured in Armada 2, specifically the last level. And one, sorry, spoilers for Armada 2. And one features predominantly in the campaign of the first game. Those of you who are watching my Let's Play, go check it out if you want to, will recognise this ship from the first mission. We're going to start off with the Armada 2 exclusive one. I'm going to give a bit of preamble for this. So, one thing I like about the games from this era of Star Trek games is there's actually a few little crossover things. And this is a crossover. There was a game called Away Team, and the conceit of Away Team is that you're kind of a special operative team, and you travel around on a ship called the Incursion. And the Incursion's gimmick isn't not that it has a cloaking device, but it actually has like a special holo emitter that can make it look like any other ship, which is a really cool plot device.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But you can tell that this is a ship that can choose to look at like any other ship at any time it wants to, because you would when you look like this.
Oh, little dumpy boy.
Like, what it's just a it's like they looked at the Defiant and went, what's the worst possible version we can create?
It makes me think of a Dumbo octopus. I don't know why.
Are you going to bat for this ship?
I don't. It's ugly cute.
Okay, ugly cute. I think it's an abomination, but I can be argued up on the basis of ugly cute. Let me see if I can find the 3D model of it. Like, it looks like...
It's ugly cute. It's like a pug.
It looks like the dog clicker that I use to signal so I'm not wrecking my hands clapping for audio cues. It looks like the dog clicker. I will cut in a picture of the dog clicker that I'm shaking right now. And put it up again. It's a dog clicker. It's even got the big squeezy button in the middle.
It doesn't really look like a ship. I'll give you that.
It's just like, you have a ship that can look like any other ship, and I guess your design brief ended there. What's its special ability? It can look like literally any other ship. Yeah, but what does it look like when it's being its truest, authentic self?
Let me see the real you. No, the real you.
Perfection.
It looks like a guitar plectrum.
It does.
It's just a guitar It's like, I don't understand how you put so little effort into designing a Star Trek ship.
But
like,
it's cute.
I get the incentive to not do a typical saucer nacelles look. But, like, the Defiant's right there. Like, I'd have just made the incursion... Honestly, I'd have just made the incursion a Defiant with an experimental hollow emitter instead of a cloaking device.
Okay.
But they went for that. So, go on.
Here's what I suggest.
Yeah.
A new tier.
A new tier. Right, where's the new tier going?
Underneath Faith in the Heart.
Underneath Faith in the Heart. So you're saying this is above A tier?
Yes.
Okay.
For weird but cute. Or wrong but cute.
Given that most of B is wrong but cute,
I mean,
I don't
that's
think we
true.
can...
That's true.
For me to say this is better than the Nebula, and... I'm sorry, I will give you your new tier, right? But I am not putting it above B tier.
Oh, come on! It's above B tier.
No, it's going in wrong but cute. It is a low B at best.
No, but it's so...
I'm sorry, I'm pulling rank.
I'll snap you back so hard you'll think you're a first-year cadet again.
I want to squish it.
You can't squish it. It's already squished. It's already flat.
I mean, that is true. That is true. It's not as flat as the origami one.
No, it's not. But and for scale size, the origami one is probably the size of like a Constitution class. So like that saucer section is bigger, relatively speaking. Whereas in this is about the size of a Defiant. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how big either of those things are, so that's not helping.
Okay. Fair enough. But and then we've got our last Brucey bonus, which is a ship that is pivotal to the plot of Armada 1. And this is the Premonition.
I can't actually tell what it looks like from that picture.
I do have a 3D model, but for some reason the 3D model from Armada... the 3D model is in Armada 2, but it doesn't have textures.
What? I need to see this.
Presumably, it was going to be in Armada 2 at one point, and it's like unfinished content. So, yeah, you've got a very smooth... But that's the general, like, shape of it.
I mean...
It looks like a paper. Like, you know those, hole punchers?
It does look a bit like a hole puncher. It's reminding me of something, but I can't... I can't think what. Something out of Rayman.
Okay, yeah. Honestly, it looks like it's kind of got... like, this is from, like, the 26th century or 25th or something. It's from the future. Which you probably couldn't have possibly guessed with it being called the USS Premonition.
Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It is very sleek,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a lot of the features of ones that I've put very high because they're sleek and they look very like aerodynamic and pretty and smooth. But it also has unnecessary bits on it. What is that bit at the back of the saucer? Why is that there?
Like, I would assume it's something to do with its, like, time manipulation device or whatever, but it just looks like a bad, like, a... You know when you get, like, those toys, and they have a carry handle, and they've just dunked a hump of plastic on it
Yeah.
for you to hold it by, and it just, like... They've just contrived it having some doodad that comes out the back of it, but, like, doesn't have any function. It's just something they've added to the toy version for you to hold it as a child, and I'm just like... It doesn't look good.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
it's like they've taken a well-designed, sleek ship and just like thunked a thing on top of it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So where are we thinking tier wise?
Like C, maybe?
C. I could go with C. I could go
Yeah.
with C.
Yeah.
So that is our last ship. So okay, serious question though. I know we put the Akira in Faith in the Heart because it's a good joke. But if you had to choose between S and A, where would you actually put it?
A. I don't think I would put that in S. I don't think it's as good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy with the A row. I'm happy with the
Yeah.
A row there. So, okay, there we go. So we have the definitive. Actually, that's a pretty nice balance we've got there.
Yeah, it is.
And on, I think the incursion is too high, but I'm not gonna. You know.
You want to move it out of wrong but cute, don't you?
I want to move it. Hey, hang on. Can I drag these and move them? Oh, I could do.
The
I
arrows.
could just do that. There we go. That
Okay.
works for me.
Okay, that's fine. I'll allow you that.
Excellent. Okay, so with that, we have completed the definitive tier list, the inarguable, absolutely unassailable, 100% correct opinion. If you do think you have a better opinion than 100%, please do feel free to leave it in the comments. But for now, that is our current ranking of the Federation ships from Star Trek Armada 2 with, I mean, one that's also in Armada 2 and a Brucey bonus from Armada 1.
And obviously, we are perfect.
We are perfect. We are unassailable. Nothing we ever have said or could say could be wrong.
That is going to come back to slap you in the face.
I would like to think that people are aware I'm saying that with my tongue somewhat in my cheek. But yeah, there we go. Do you think we'll be doing this again?
I would love to do this again. This was very fun.
I think Klingon is the next inevitable step, and I think that's a lot of fun because the Klingons are the Klingon ships from the Next Generation era have some of my favorite ships, and from Armada have some ships that are cool in theory, but in practice have some really interesting problems to talk about. I think so. Yeah, look forward to it. Right,
I am happy to go off just vibes.
Excellent. So, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've all had a good day, and hopefully I will see you for a tier list next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.